Hello everyone and welcome to a new video. In this video, we will solve a problem that relates while loops and arrays. In fact, it will teach us how to use while loops to generate arrays. This is a very useful tool in several computational problems. All right, so let's see. The question says write a while loop that stores the integers 3, 4, 5, all the way to 13 in an array. Obviously, this can be solved without the need for a while loop. So for example, the simplest thing in MATLAB, let's say call the array x. We say that x equal 3 colon 13, and that should be enough to generate the array that contains these numbers. So 3, 4, 5, and all the way to 13. But really, the purpose here is to exercise using while loops to fill in an array. And one way to think about this is something that we covered before in a previous video is trying to list the elements of the array x. So the first element is x of 1 equals 3, and the second element is x of 2 equals 4. And if you count the number of elements in this array, which is an easy task in this particular problem, or you can use the length function, you will figure out that there are 11 elements, and the last one is 13. So in a sense, we want a loop that systematically uh, uh, adds one element of this array one at a time. All right, so let's try to apply what we have learned about while loops. First, let's open a MATLAB script. Let's have this one, for example. And then, as we learned, we need to start with a counter. I'm going to call this counter k, and I could have started it from 1 or 3, doesn't matter. So 1 is the obvious choice, but also 3 could be a reasonable choice as well, especially that the array that we are trying to generate is starting from 3. So I'm going to say that k equals 3, right? And then, as usual, we have our while loop. There should be a condition here and some calculation, and then eventually there is an end for this while. So far, we are really thinking systematically in this problem. All right, so apparently this k, which is starting with the value of 3, will change systematically in steps of 1, and then until we reach 13, and then at that point, I'm going to stop the loop. So probably I need to put my condition while k is less than 14, or I could make it less than or equal 13. So both of them would work. And then the storage step inside the array. So I'm going to say x of something equals the value of k. And we really have to be very careful here because, okay, so suppose I write x equals. So, x equals and the value of k is now 3, and then obviously while the loop goes, I'm gonna say k equals k plus 1. And in a sense, you might think that you generated the array, but unfortunately, this is not the case. What's happening here is that you start with k, the value of x becomes k, which is 3. So you start with x equals 3. And then you increment the k by 1, so it becomes 4. And now the loop runs, and then the x, you delete the 3 completely from the memory of the computer, and you get x equals 4. So at the end of this loop, and you can convince yourself by this, and we can actually run it, I will get something that looks like this, x equal 13. In fact, if I display x here, display x, and I try to run this, I will get, 13, right? So it's not really an array. This is not what I want. I want an array that contains all these numbers, which means I need to store them inside the array. Okay. Then I need to tell MATLAB that this x, actually, the x that I'm assigning to it the value of k is an element of an array. So because of this, I need to say It's x of something, of some index. MATLAB automatically tried to help me by making it x of k, but really this is not good because you remember k starts from 3, and we know that the index of an array in MATLAB starts always from 1, right? So it goes from 1 to all the way to 11. So in using k as an index is not correct, but that's fine because the starting k is 3. If I go down, if I subtract 2 from it, so it will be fine. So it will be x of 1 equals 3. And then when k increases and becomes 4, right? When k becomes 4, so it will be x of, 4 minus 2 equals 4. That's to say that x of 2 equals 4, and that's what I want. The second element of the array is 4. In fact, let's try to try one more time. So when k increases again, so k will be 5. And then when the while loop starts again from the beginning, so it will be x of 5 minus 2 equals 5. That's actually x of 3 equals 5. So it seems things are working. And it's going to keep working until k equals 13. So it will be x of 13 minus 2 equals 13. And then k becomes 14. And once it's 14, the while loop stops, right? So let's actually test this. I'm going to maybe CLC and clear. Let me save this and run again. Yeah, so you see, I have the elements from 3 to 14. I want to also note something. Suppose someone said, no, 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 no. And so we completed the exercise here. We really don't need to do any modifications. We are done with the exercise. But suppose someone said, look, I don't want k to start from 3. I'm going to start from 1. So then really you have to be careful because you are counting the indices now, right? So you should stop when k is less than 12. You remember there are 11 elements in the array. And now it will be x of k, that's fine, because the index is, starting from 1. But then x of k equals x of k plus 2. Now this also works. So let's actually try to test this. Let me CLC and clear and run again. So yeah, it works. So you really have to decide. If you start from 1, you have to adjust the condition of the while loop and the way you index, the way you put your index here. I personally, for some reason, I think it's more convenient to do it the way we did originally, and I will leave it at that state. There is something here I will comment at briefly, but we will address this in more details later on. This X here, there is a little red line under it, and MATLAB is sort of unhappy. And there will be a time when we will discuss this in detail in a later video. Thank you so much, and see you in another video.